Trump is saying that he's going to have Elon Musk head an audit of the entire federal government, and that's a part of his economic plan. Take a look.
To stop this onslaught and lower prices, I'm pledging today that in my second term, we will eliminate a minimum of 10 old regulations for every one new regulation. We'll be able to do that quite easily, actually. And instead of attacking industries of the future, we will embrace them, including making America the world capital for crypto and Bitcoin.
Let's stop there. Let's break this down. I want to go point by point in the same way that we evaluated Kamala Harris's economic policy, which was trash. I want to go point by point objectively, and I'm going to give my opinion on what he was saying at the Economic Club of New York the other day, yesterday in particular, and how this is going to affect us as Americans. Number one, I love the fact that we eliminate and we go through and we mine out for every new regulation that we create or every next level of red tape that we have, that we go and we find out some that's outdated and eliminate 10. That means you're going to start to think about the laws that you create and the legislation that you pass prior to putting it on the American people. And then we also going to have to be a lot more efficient. The government is bloated. The government is the most inefficient entity. And it is a business. To be in government is a business. The government is the most inefficient entity that we have in the United States of America that we don't address. We want to go and put it on capitalism. We want to put it on rich people. We want to put it on the middle class. We want to put it on poor people, logistics, sports teams, anybody that we can find before we first start to cut the fat from the federal government itself. Government spending is out of control, and a level of regulation that it takes in order to be successful, especially when it comes to over-regulating certain industries that most people are not even in agreement of, is out of control. So to eliminate a vast majority of a lot of this outdated legislation. Oh, and let me also say that we need to make sure that a part of that economic policy, I know we can't say it out loud, and I'm not saying that this is a part of this economic policy, is also to update family court laws, because that's a racket. That is 100% a racket. But to eliminate all of this regulation, if you're going to introduce new legislation, I think it's a great idea. That's number one.
Fourth, at the suggestion of Elon Musk, who has given me his complete and total endorsement. That's nice. Smart guy. He knows what he's doing. It's very, very much appreciated. I will create a government efficiency commission tasked with conducting a complete financial and performance audit of the entire federal government and making recommendations for drastic reforms. We need to do it. Can't go on the way we are now. And Elon, because he's not very busy, has agreed to head that task force.
Now I know why they wanted to assassinate him. Now I know why they wanted to assassinate. See, this is real economic policy. To create a task force to audit the entire federal government. Now I know why they wanted to take him out. Now I know why the establishment. Now I know why they filing charges against him. Now I know why they basically participating in election interference. Now we know. Because he already had started undoing things and started getting rid of a whole lot of stuff that was happening inside of the federal government in the first place. And he was firing everybody up in that joint. He was firing everybody. But to create a task force to go over and audit, has the government ever really been audited? I've never heard this before in my entire life. If anybody can do it, it has to be somebody from outside of the establishment, from outside of being a lifetime politician. Here's my question. Has the government ever been audited? Because we know that the government spending is out of control and they think that they can just tax their way to success. They think that they can tax their way to wealth. I don't know any American that would be against this type of economic policy. I don't know any American that would be against this level of this economic policy. Very few people can ever criticize this plan. Very few people can criticize this plan. And that we probably will remove billions, let alone trillions, from our government spending if we actually did a real audit of the entire federal government. From outside entities, from somebody that actually understands how to run things efficiently and has created businesses within the United States of America. One of the very few people that has created a brand new automaker within the last 30 years. Y'all better pray. Y'all better pray for this man, because they don't want him. The powers that be and these lifetime politicians and these people that have all of this finessing, because I believe personally that probably some of the most corrupt things is not happening in corporate America, it's happening in the federal government. It's happening in the federal government. There's so much inefficiency. There's so much probably fraud going on. I believe that if you want to do a top-down draining of the swamp, it doesn't just start with politicians, it starts with the federal government itself. Boy, if they not trying to take this man out as a result of some of the things that he's saying, and for him to say it, Jesus, he said the quiet part out loud that everybody probably should agree with. There's nobody in this chat, whether you're liberal or whether you're conservative, that should object to the federal government. If you look at your paycheck, some of y'all got paid today, some of y'all got paid yesterday, and you look at your paycheck and you see all of the taxes that's coming out and they get their cut. Some people get bonuses, and you know that if you get bonuses, you automatically, in most instances, it takes out the largest amount and it takes out extra union dues, depending on what industry you're in. If you getting that bonus and you see how much so you grateful when you see the initial number, but then when you see the amount that you gross and what the difference is, then you don't know all of these random people that you don't even, they ain't gave you no box. You know what I'm saying? You ain't never got to kiss them. But all of these random entities is just taking money out of your check, make you feel some type of way. I don't know anybody that has ever done and worked legally that has gotten a paycheck and was disgusted when you first got your paycheck when you was a child, that you would object to the federal government being audited. Nobody.
Interesting. If he has the time, that'd be a good one to do it. But he's agreed to do it. In 2022, fraud and improper payments alone cost taxpayers an estimated hundreds of billions of dollars. As the first order of business, this commission will develop an action plan to totally eliminate fraud and improper payments within 6 months. This will save trillions of dollars, trillions. It's massive. For the same service that you have right now, trillions of dollars is wasted and gone, and nobody knows where it went.
We don't even know what's happening as far as the migrant crisis. Hey, remember when we actually tried to do a deep dive in Chicago and we was trying to figure out, okay, so wait a minute, Chicago was spending $400 million, $500 million, $600 million. They operating at a budget deficit. They got a website. Hold on, let me pull up the website for y'all just so y'all can see. I don't remember what the name of the website was. Cost dashboard. Hold on, let me see. So this is the cost dashboard. Let me pull it up for y'all so y'all can see it for yourselves. Give me a second. This is the cost dashboard for Chicago, right? And so you can go vendor payments, new arrivals mission. They're not calling it a migrant crisis. They're not calling it none of that. They're calling it the new arrivals mission. And as of August 9th, 2024, so roughly a month ago, this is information reported here. It includes payments that have been processed for costs associated with the new arrivals mission. Let me get the good naming policy up here. This report does not, I repeat, does not reflect all expenses incurred to date. So this is just a rough estimate. We don't know what the real total is. To date, this information reflects city financial management systems as of this published date, is indicated at the top of the dashboard. As additional expenses are incurred and payments are processed and reconciled, the information on this report will be updated accordingly. Goes out on the 10th of every month. So this month on the 10th, we should be expecting it. So it goes in and it gives you a cumulative total of $460 million that they've spent on migrants. Corporate fund, grant funds, vendor. Favored healthcare staffing is taking up 63% of the $400 million that was spent on new arrival mission. Equitable Solutions, LLC, got $86 million. They got $291 million. Open Kitchens got $25 million. Parish LLC, look at these generic names, got $12 million. Bright Bath Consulting, $4 million. KLEO, Community Family Life Center, Kaizen Health, and it goes through and it gives you all of the spending every single month and what the checks go out for, so on and so forth. So this is, for example, the vendor Parish. We don't even know who Parish is. We don't know who the owner is. We don't know who the participants are. We don't know whether it's a you know what I'm saying? We don't know who it is, but I know that January 21st, 2024, they got a check for $677,000. March 17th, 612, January 28th, 788, February 4th, 796. So the numbers just continue to run up. ABC Humane Wildlife Control and Prevention. ABC, what a generic name. ABC Wildlife Control and Prevention. So we don't know who's behind the curtains. We don't know none of this. It's just rows and lines, and you can continue to scroll down, and it's rows and rows and rows, even to where it just got to catch up. Look at all of the numbers. Look at where your tax dollars is going. Rows and 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 rows. Look at this. Look at this. Do you see how much this is? How many payments that they making? Do y'all see this? Y'all see this? So we don't know who's who and where all of this money is going. And the voters and the taxpayers had no say-so as to how this was going. But they spend money like it's going out of style. They spend money like it's going out of style. We don't even know. An LLC that's an umbrella company of an LLC that's an umbrella company of an LLC, and we don't know who at the top is just going. It's just going. It's just money just being spent on a regular basis. And so I don't know how y'all are not 100% upset and holding y'all leaders accountable, but yet y'all sit here and tell me that voting don't matter and that the town halls be empty, but the brunch spots is full. And then I tell people when I use evidence like this, because I can go straight to the website and this is public information and I say, okay, well, this is how I substantiate my argument. This is what's really happening, and this is why we should be concerned about the migrant crisis and why y'all not holding her accountable and asking her the questions about what's happening and why they letting all of these people inside of our country. Well, Trump said we got to do an audit of the entire federal government. We got to do an audit of everything, and we need to figure out who and where the money is going to. And so now I understand why they tried to kill him. I understand why they tried to assassinate him, because this is not what the establishment wants at all. If there's anybody that has ever outwardly said that they want to drain the swamp and then gave you an economic policy that aligned with it, it's him.
Further taming inflation and bringing prices way down. The fifth pillar of my plan is to make the Trump tax cuts permanent. They are massive tax cuts, biggest ever, permanent. And to cut taxes even more, and we will have no tax on tips, something which they copied 4 weeks after I said it.
She did.
Got up, said, no tax on tips. I said, I just said that. She is actually copying a lot of my plan. In fact, we're going to send her a MAGA sometime in the next week. We're having a special one day. But we also know she doesn't mean it. She's going to stick with what her whole life has been about. And also, no tax on Social Security benefits. People on Social Security have been wiped out by inflation, and now on top of it, we tax their benefits. We're not going to tax their benefits. We have so many different ways of making so much money. This country, the potential is so incredible. We don't have to take it away from people on Social Security. We're not going to do that. We're going to save Social Security. She's going to destroy Social Security. Under the Trump administration, we proved that targeted tax cuts do not increase the deficit. They reduce the deficit by growing the economy and raising revenue. After we gave the massive tax cuts, we took in the following year with a much lower rate, billions and billions of dollars more than we did the previous year with a high rate. Think of that.
So what he basically is telling you that is more conducive to grow the economy, and that not only did they generate more revenue, but they incentivized more job creation. Inflation was at an all-time low at 1.2% when he handed over the keys to the federal government. And then on top of that, they brought in profits from overseas at a lower tax rate, which basically spurred more revenue inside of the federal government. So wait. You telling me, Anton, that it wasn't just giving tax breaks to the billionaires, it was actually spurring the economy and everybody was happy? Everybody was happy in 2017, 2018, 2009. Everybody was happy. Everybody was making money. Everybody was getting the bag. More money was spending. Exotic cars was being bought. Homes was being bought. The economy was booming. Inflation was low. We was getting to the money and we ain't had no new wars. What more do you want? What more do you want from this man? And it's because when you lower the barrier to entry and you lower taxes, what you do is you spur more spending that would then result in better jobs and higher wages and then more money coming in from overseas because they're not keeping profits for overseas and then leveraging it as an asset to not pay taxes on money that's borrowed. We need a real president, not what's been in office right now. We need a real president.
Much lower rate. We took in more money because people were incentivized. Corporate tax revenues are 31% higher today than before my tax law was signed. With all of those cuts, 31% higher. To further support the revival of American manufacturing, my plan calls for expanded R&D tax credits, 100% bonus depreciation, expensing for new manufacturing investments, and a reduction in the corporate tax rate from 21% to 15% solely for companies that make their product in America.
So what is he doing? Because everybody wants China and India and Indonesia and Taiwan and all of these places to continue to just pump money and to pump money into their own companies in their own country and then pump products in the United States of America in the name of lower costs. What Trump is saying is, listen, if companies invest in their research and development and then also create more American jobs here in the United States of America, we'll give them breaks to be able to do so, but it's only if they're pumping money into the economy and they're creating jobs. That is what's going to spur the American economy, not saying that we're going to build 3 million new homes. Oh, so wait a minute. The way that you spur investment is by incentivizing business owners to do it for themselves, not have more government oversight into playing a role in what's happening, which is then one of the ways that we explode as far as inflation. It's a phenomenal plan. Clearly, he thinks from a business perspective, or he has business people around him that is helping him craft economic policy that's going to be good for the American people. He said, listen, we need to be investing in the American economy, research and development, create more American jobs. That's where we're going to place our money, and that's who gets the tax breaks. Do you see the difference between somebody that can actually come up with an economic policy instead of the fluff?
You have to make your product in America. If you outsource, offshore, or replace American workers, you're not eligible for any of these benefits. In fact, you will pay a very substantial tariff when a product comes in from another country that's made in another country and comes in. There'll be a big tariff on that product because we want to make our goods in America, and most of them we can. My message is simple. Make your product here in America, and only in America. We are not going to be taken advantage of anymore, just as we made great inroads and progress 4 years ago. We made tremendous inroads on this subject. We're not going to watch our wealth and jobs get ripped away from us and sent to foreign countries, which is what's been happening for many, many decades with us. China was built on doing exactly what we're going to be doing and what I started doing 4 years ago.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily.
I think that that's a phenomenal plan. Let me give a round of applause for the upcoming president for the second term. It's a phenomenal plan, and you can't even keep. I expect Kamala Harris to steal more talking points from Trump, and I can't wait. I can't wait for this upcoming debate. He's going to wash her. 1,000% he's going to wash her.